Oh, well, hello there.
Hi.
Are you okay, mate?
It's been better today.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What has happened to your sound?
I'm using my phone.
Oh,
Well, I mean, my phone doesn't have an audio jack, so
oh. Right.
I
It, it sounds like you're talking through a tin can.
does that help any?
Alright. I can understand what you're saying, so let's test it on the stream. Right, say a random sentence. Let's test it on the stream. Right,
Hi.
say a random
How are you?
sentence. Let's test it on the stream. Right,
Hi.
say a random
How are you?
sentence. Alright, it's very, very quiet. Alright, so Ian, what have you been up to today? Have you been busy at all?
Not overall, no, just getting things ready for next week.
Oh, what's happening next week?
Driving down to London for a friend job appointment.
Oh God, even I can't understand you right now. Um, oh, okay. Oh God, even I can't understand you.
For next week.
Oh, what's happening next week? Yeah, mate, I can't hear a fucking thing.
For oh,
What's happened to the old? What was wrong with the old setup?
it takes forever to blow before it starts to load up, and then it starts showing up on PC.
It's the only one that works. This one doesn't work. Oh, let me invite you to the session. Wait, you got to be on the PC anyway to join the lobby, so it doesn't matter, does it? No, you've got to load up the PC anyway, haven't you, to join the session? Hello, hello. That's right though, isn't it? You've got to load up the PC anyway. Otherwise, you can't join. Am I wrong? I'm not wrong. Cool. Thank you. Yo, Ed. Welcome everybody back to the Motive Racing channel tonight for the action here on Monday night for our regular Monday night slot here, the Red Arrows Racing League tonight, round 4 of this 12-round season. I did actually accidentally put in the video title that it's round 3, but it isn't, it is round 4. We've had 3 races so far this season, and we're back to the traditional format, I believe, for this one. Last week we had a 3-tyre compound race, which is the first iteration that I've ever seen of that particular variant of race. But tonight. I believe it's the normal service resumes, so a simple qualifying and a race to decide who gets the 25 points here this evening, or rather, actually, it's not 25 points in this league. I did actually receive a message informing me on the slightly altered, should I say, point system that they have here, which we'll get to a bit later on with the championship standings also. But yeah, tonight, round four of the season is looks to be just an ordinary race. So basically it runs in threes. So you got round one normal race, round two sprint, round three tyre compound race, and it just goes in multiples of three essentially. So it rotates. By the looks of it, anyway, from what I can see on the calendar. So that'll be interesting to see plenty of different sorts of races here for this season here at the Red Arrows Racing League. But currently, we're in the early stage of the qualifying session at the moment. We're going to go through the championship standings in just a second. So far this season, after 3 rounds, obviously at this point, once you've had 3 rounds, the championship does usually start to take shape a little bit. Quite often you'll find that the championship standings after 3 races isn't usually too dissimilar to what you see at the end of the season. So currently coming into tonight. Oh, hello, mate. Ian goes with us. Ian, welcome.
Meh.
I can hear you a lot better now, mate. That's brilliant, because I was a bit worried earlier that we weren't going to have the usual dulcet tones of Ian on the stream. So I'm glad that we've got you back, mate. But yeah, nonetheless, I didn't ask anything. It wasn't a question. It was a statement.
Oh, no one asked for you to say that, so, ciao.
Oh, never mind. Currently leading the championship tonight is Soggy Biscuit, or now as he's known, Soggy Cucumber, on 79 points, driving in the Williams. 2 points ahead only of Super Striker in second place in the championship. Super Striker is on 77 points. And actually not here tonight, which is rather strange, because Super Striker's one of the admins here at the league. Messaged me earlier asking if I was going to be here tonight, but clearly Super Striker otherwise engaged, which is going to be a big opportunity tonight for his main contenders. And third in the championship is Mark Bow, who sits only 4 points off the championship lead, only 2 points behind Super Striker, so 4 points separating the top 3 in the championship. Soggy Biscuit, Super Striker and Bow locked horns in a battle, but it's really going to hurt Super Striker tonight if he's not turning up. I don't know whether we're expecting him later on in the qualifying session, but yeah, that could be absolutely massive there for Super Striker this evening. Nonetheless, we've still got the other 2 contenders here out there. Bo's currently in the pits, and Soggy Cucumber currently in the pits after having set the fastest lap of the session so far. Steely sits in 4th in the standings on 50 points, a little way behind the top 3, although has been starting to make ground in the last couple of races. Corey is 5th on 36 points. Corey currently in the pits at the moment. And then we've got, he's just come out of the pits actually. Jojo Lancer sits in 6th place in the standings, obviously a reserve for this season, but had a very strong round in Hungary at round 2 as a reserve. And then you've got 7th place is Papi Giza on 28 points, 2 points behind Jojo Lancer. Papi Giza is, believed, by the looks of it, not here. I don't know whether we've got a different name on Discord. Could well be. Sniper C is 8th in the standings on 28 points. Sniper C is out there on the track currently on outlap. Then we've got Ross Northover in 9th in the standings in the Red Bull. Is also on a flying lap at the moment. 10th in the standings is ZX Tenor. ZX Tenor is not here either. Wow. Oh no, he is. Yeah, right at the bottom of the leaderboard there. So ZX Tenor there. 10th in the standings. Murphy in 11th on 20 points, followed by RDBCSC in 12th on 17 points. Brams in 13th on 13 points. Steve Faulkner 14th on 11, with Brewdog 15th on 11 also. Super Calgon 16th on 10 points. Archie 17th on 10. Youngie 18th on 9 points. Then we go to Jordan on 9 points in 19th place. Fake Scouser in 20th on 8 points. Meldav, Geldy, Senna, Mazza, Enmorph, Hammer, Lil Magin, and Sana, the reserves here for the season. Ian, we've just lost you in the game session. Is everything alright?
Give me a minute.
It's just jumping back in the lobby, so we've had a bit of an issue with getting in the lobby, obviously. We weren't able to be ready exactly on the button, but we're here. It's only qualifying, don't worry, guys, don't worry. We're going to be all sorted for the race. So fear not, for those of you watching this back afterwards, dreading that it's going to be not the best. It will definitely be a very successful night of coverage here on the channel. But nonetheless, Soggy Cucumber is currently out there on just starting a flying lap here. The provisional pole sitter Archie in second place, 4/10 shy. Soggy Cucumber's fastest time there, so big gap that Soggy Cucumber's got here tonight. As we said, big night for him. Knows that he could really extend that gap in the championship with a good performance here in Australia. Sniper C doing a good job so far. A 10th up through the first sector. Let's ride on board with Sniper C here and see what we're able to produce. As through that difficult chicane we go, and down towards the final part of the lap here for Sniper C. Currently 6/10 or maybe half a second off of the pace. Mark Bow. Let me just message Bow on the PlayStation app. It's such a pain having two PlayStation accounts. And it's all because EA are so awkward. It means I can't make an EA, I can't log into my EA account using my other PlayStation account. It's so fucking annoying. So Soggy Cucumber there puts it into the 1:15. So that is a phenomenal time there from Soggy Cucumber. ZX10 is going to second place as well on 1 minute 16.3. Anybody in the session, in the party chat, any of the drivers that are listening, can you get Mark Bow to send Emo Guy another invite to his EA ID, not to his PlayStation, to his EA ID. So it's the same as his PlayStation name, emo_guy97. That's emo_guy97. If anybody can please ask Mark Bow to do that, I would really be appreciative of that, because he currently can't see what's going on. He has absolutely no idea what we're seeing on the stream at this point, and I know for a fact that if we have to do a share play, then he's going to be very, very upset. As Mark Bow goes into fourth place there, 6/10 off for the fastest time, so Mark Bow has done a decent job there of getting it up there or thereabouts, but still a little way off of his championship rival here, Soggy Cucumber, who's just coming into the final sector now. And half a second separating the top three drivers, currently less than a second separating the top 8. As Soggy Cucumber here coming through into the pits now after that second run of the session, so definitely showing that he's got the pace here tonight to be showing the way. Bow's on an in-lap at this point. What about Youngie? Youngie's also on an in-lap. Brams is coming into the final sector on an in-lap as well. Steely's coming up towards the line. What is going to do? A P5 there for Steely, so that's a solid lap there. Steely's shown great race pace in a few of the recent events, and definitely doing a decent job here tonight, not too far away at all. So that would be a good foundation for Steely to be a threat to the leaders for sure. Could certainly be looking at a potential podium here tonight. Now I'm hoping that Mark Bow uses Discord during the races. Do you send you an invite? Perfect.
Yeah.
Amazing. Brilliant. Excellent. So Ian, obviously now in the session. I mean, it's looking like Soggy Cucumber is certainly showing some serious dominance in this qualifying session, isn't it? Look at that gap over everybody else. Seems like everybody else is quite close, but Soggy Cucumber, one of the wavelengths at the moment, isn't he?
I know that when you're going around this track, once you get the first, good few corners out of the way, it can be really easy just to, just pin everything else into exactly where it needs to be, and it makes it so much more satisfying when that does happen.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's one of those tracks, Australia, where I was generally able to get quite good at it because I usually found that in the early races of the season, it was much easier to put a lot of practice in because you have more time before the season to get things ready. Like competing in F1 leagues, it's so much easier when you've got 3 or 4 weeks to prepare for the first race rather than just one. So Australia was one, and obviously, as we all know, Australia used to be the first race of the season, and it was this year, but for many years before, it wasn't as well. But yeah, for sure, I really like this track. That turn one especially. One thing I've always found is that AI through that first corner are always a bit of a nightmare. So if you're not on pole, you can very easily go steaming into the back of someone into turn one through that first corner. But that was one thing that always used to frustrate me. But nonetheless, we got Corey here coming into the pits at the end of this particular run. Super Calgon is on a flying lap by the looks of it. So let's see what Super Calgon can do coming to this final sector. Currently 15th place, a little way off of the pace by 2 seconds away from Soggy Cucumber. So could be Super Calgon's chance to try and just lift things up the order a little bit here in towards the penultimate corner. I think we might be coming in though. I'm not sure. Yeah, Super Calgon's pitting. So no improvement this time around there. Lancer is on the medium tyres and still yet to do a lap. So Lancer's going to be doing whatever we see from Lancer. It's going to be on the medium tyres. That's going to be interesting. So I wonder if Lancer's carrying a handicap for this race because we know how quick Lancer was at Hungary. We know that there's pace there. So could we be seeing Lancer carrying a bit of a penalty here as a result of his talent, maybe?
It's always possible. You never know, but he's just retired from the session.
Yeah, it looks like he's done. So he's going to be starting last no matter what, and you can't really get much more of a penalty than that. So yeah, it's going to be a tricky race here for Lancer. It's going to be very entertaining to see where he can get up to during the race because that's going to be a long way back here for Lancer. I'll tell you that. It's going to be a bit of a slog for him, but nonetheless. We got the provisional pole sitter here, so we'll get 2 laps in if he's got the fuel, but if not, it'll be a 1-lap run here to try and extend the gap at the top of the leaderboard. ZX10 is out there. Archie's currently just starting a flying lap at the moment, just ahead of Soggy Cucumber on the track as we see the drivers coming out of the pits, keeping well out of the way. Good sportsmanship from those guys. That's what we want to see. That's what we expected them, and that's what they're supposed to do anyway. But likes of Mark Bo, Steely and Youngie out there on outlaps at the moment, so they're going to be looking to try and get into that top 4. Jordan Hillier is currently coming through the first sector and is well off of his personal best. Archie, we're going to watch Archie because he could be a bit of a threat here. Half a second off for the fastest time being set by Soggy Cucumber, only a 10th and a half off of the front row, so could be a big moment here for Archie as we come into the chicane, and little lift there, downshift as he came into the chicane, but keeping it almost pinned to the floor here as we now come down towards the final sector here for Archie. This tricky curve on the inside, you want to stay away from that. Manages to just balance over it really nicely and through this right-hander, which is almost flat. Little lift there as he went through the corner, downshifting to 3rd gear, and now we're going to come through this what should be a flat-out corner, but it's a bit of it's not an easy corner, but if you take it smoothly, you can be flat out pretty comfortably as Archie over the line, and it's P4 for Archie. Can't improve, 0.003 of a second off a 3rd, and only 0.02 off a 2nd place here. So Archie tantalisingly close to a front row start, but couldn't quite get it hooked up there. And so close so far for Archie. Soggy Cucumber is down on this lap, so it's not going to be an improvement here for our provisional pole sitter. This could leave him vulnerable because Sniper C is out there, so is ZX Tenor as well. So plenty of opportunities here for drivers to improve as Bo is 2/10 up through the middle sector, coming into now the final part of the lap here. Got that beautifully turned there, didn't he? I tell you what. And bit of oversteer there on the curb going through the 3rd to last corner. Looking at the leaderboard there, Northover's gone into 3rd place in the Red Bull, so Northover not far away, but that'll be his run. That'll be his qualifying done here. Here comes Mark Bo though, up towards the line. What is it going to be? Oh, look at that, second. Lovely lap there from Mark Bow. Went 2/10 quicker than Sniper C onto the front row. Goes to McLaren. Sniper C's way down in the first sector. I don't think it's going to be an improvement there for Sniper C. ZX10 is coming through the first sector. C. Faulkner.
I think that he was on an invalid lap.
Oh, okay. Well, ZX10 coming towards the first sector checkpoint. Has he backed out of it? I think he has. I don't know. Yeah, he definitely has. As we see the Red Bull there of Northover also is done for the session. There's Mark Bow. So those guys have all now finished the session. Who is on a lap though? Soggy Cucumber is on another lap. So low fuel. Obviously, this is his second lap of this run. As somebody's gone wide there in the background. Is anybody else out there to be a threat to the pole sitter? I don't think they are. I think this session is done. Murph is on a big improvement as he pits. So Soggy Cucumber up towards the line. Can he rub salt in the wounds here? 15.9 so far. Look at that. He goes almost half a second clear of Mark Bow there. A 1 minute 15.6 there for Soggy Cucumber. Really stamping his authority on the rest of the field tonight. Pole sitter by an absolute mile. And Mark Bow is going to have to shift his attention to trying to play the long game here in this race. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see Mark Bow doing the opposite to the recommended strategy in this race to try and just do something to outfox this man here. But what a performance in qualifying from Soggy Cucumber. And, you know, with this close championship battle, moments like that, moments of magic on that lap could be what wins him the championship. So, yeah, fantastic stuff there from Soggy Cucumber. And but still a long race ahead of us, and obviously it's a conventional format tonight here. It's a qualifying followed by the race, so there's no sprints, there's no multiple tyre compounds required, caveats to throw in there. It's literally just get on with it, crack on, and do what you've usually done throughout your whole career, basically. But yeah, that's that then for the qualifying session. So fantastic stuff there from Soggy Cucumber. A resounding pole position there by absolutely one-sided margin there. So the championship leader is your pole sitter, and with the absence of Super Striker here tonight, it could mean a good night here for Soggy Cucumber and for Mark Bow. But those two lining up on the front row. Sniper C in third with Northover, followed by ZX10 and Archie there, P6. Steely 7th, head of Youngie, followed by Brams, Jordan Hillier. Then you've got Meldav in 11th place, followed by Corey. Murph and C. Faulkner on row 7 ahead of Super Calgon and Lancer lining up at the back. But we know Lancer's got pace. This could be a very exciting race from the back of the pack there for Lancer. I'll tell you what, he's going to be one to watch out for here. But we have got Super Striker in the comments here. Did chime in a few moments ago. Obviously not here tonight. One of the championship contenders saying, I wish I was there, man. Liam Stacey there, obviously Super Striker. For those of you who don't know, I've only just found out myself Super Striker's name. But hello, Liam. And I'm glad to see you watching. Shame, obviously, you can't race here tonight. But showing the support here to your fellow drivers and to the stream. And hopefully we'll see you on track. Hopefully this won't be too catastrophic for the season. He says, I'm gutted I can't be here either. Both owners. Oh, God. Both owners aren't here. Who's the other owner? I'm not familiar. But yeah, that's not good at all in terms of the championship. But I guess it's all about taking part, really, isn't it? It's competing to win the championship. Pappy Geezer. Okay. Yeah. I noticed when I was going through the standings that Pappy Geezer wasn't there either. Well, I suppose it gives drivers like our honorary reserve a big chance to try and win the race, Lancer. But starting from the back, it's going to be a real slog here. G.C. says, backing my teammate. Good luck, boys. G.C.'s teammate, for those of you who aren't familiar, is, hold on whilst I just find out, who is your teammate G.C.? I can't even see you on the standings. Is your Discord name different? Sorry, I do apologise. I just too much to take in. As Liam there, Super Striker says, I am in the Dominican Republic, so it's bittersweet. Well, I suppose, yeah. Yeah, I think we'd all love to be somewhere nice and sunny, wouldn't we? Wouldn't you, Ian?
Yeah, definitely.
That's what we strive to make these things possible. But yeah, I suppose, yeah, I suppose you have no reason to be bitter at this point. I tell you what, I think we're all very jealous of that. As G.C. says, he's Dark Sparky on Discord. Ah, right. Dark Sparky. Yeah, I still can't see you on this list, mate. Don't know where you are. Um, Never mind. um, yeah,
Did you see the F125 trailer?
I haven't seen it yet. No, no.
There's
We
reverse tracks.
we'll watch it. Really? Oh, for God's sake!
You can now go and reverse around any track.
I don't know what I think about that.
It's going to be fun.
It's gonna be fun. I don't know. Yeah, it,
Zandvoort and reverse will be interesting.
I don't know if it's the right title for that, but oh God, that will be. Yeah, turn one will be not a left-handed banking.
Yep.
I can't think of any um, situations where you've had an F1 track with a first corner that's a banking. Oh, here we go. We're straight into the race, I think. Are we? I'm not sure. Is this going to be straight in? Yep, lights out and away we go. So Soggy Cucumber there, got a good start. Bo there, also likewise, both of the top two there, getting very solid getaways. Into turn one we go, as Northover's getting around the outside of Bo. Bo's ghosting there, so there was a bit of a lag going on there. I don't know what was happening, but Soggy Cucumber leading, coming down towards turn three, and Northover in the Red Bull into second place here. Bo there in third, followed by Sniper C, as we see Brams as battling here with ZX Tenor. These two are side by side right now, and ZX Tenor has lost out there to Brams, his teammate, who's up into 8th place. Jordan Hillier there behind them. But you got C. Faulkner there moving ahead of Corey up into 14th place. Soggy Cucumber, though, leading on this first lap. Northover has got Bo trying to come back at him here down this long flat-out stretch as Jordan Hillier's moved back ahead as ZX Tenor up into 9th place.
Side by side here in the back.
Lancer's made up a load of places here as well here. Look at this, up 5 places from the start, up into 11th place. Lancer now looking to try and pick off some more drivers here, side by side, between Jordan and ZX Tenor. And great driving from those two. Always to say that, they almost made contact there, but they managed to get through it unscathed. I saw a little bit of bodywork going off for somebody, but Lancer there squeezes through up into P10. Now looking on the back of ZX Tenor, we've got side by side here, Murph and ZX Tenor, as Murph gets around the outside of ZX Tenor there, up into 11th place. So action all over the place right now. But Bo is back up into second place here. Has repassed Northover after losing that position off of the line. So Bo can now try and chase after his championship rival. There's a lot of lag here on the timing screen. It says that Bo is a lap down on Soggy Cucumber. That is not the case at all. Soggy Cucumber is on the same lap as all of these guys. It was saying that Bo was a half a tenth behind him, which he definitely wasn't. He was the best part of a second behind him. You could see clearly if you opened your eyes. But it was saying that.
It says that Bo is a minute 19 behind.
Which is a lap, yeah. That is a lap, essentially. So, yeah, there's a glitch on the timing screen. But to those of you who are concerned looking at that, thinking, how is Soggy Cucumber already a lap ahead? We're only on lap 2. Don't worry, he isn't driving a SpaceX rocket. He is actually on the same lap as these guys. They're all on lap 2. There is a glitch on the timing screen. But Northover getting close here to the back of Bo. They're all at DRS now down this part of the track, and they're all closing up onto each other here. There's a bit of a concertina going on as Lancer there has moved ahead of Jordan Hillier up into 9th place. But here we come then into this final sector right now. Bo having a little look to the inside. Bit of slight lock up there from Soggy Cucumber as they came through that corner. Bit of a lock up in the background as well there from the Ferrari of Steely as drivers just testing the limits in the early stages of this race. But look at that, there's also a lock up there from Bo as well. So drivers just getting these brakes up to temperature. Liam Stacey says, what happened to Tenor? I didn't see actually, but Tenor's got a penalty as well. So was that for a collision or was that
contact through the left right?
Was that what the penalty's for? But contact.
Yeah.
Oh dear. See Faulkner and ZX Tenor side by side here as ZX Tenor tried to hold it around the outside there. C Faulkner. I think ZX Tenor might have damage here because that looked like C Faulkner was able to make the move quite easily there on the exit of the corner. Youngie gets ahead of Archie up into P5, and ZX Tenor is continuing to lose places there. You can see on the timing board on the bottom left-hand corner that Meldav has got ahead of him there up into 13th place. But we're watching leaders. No, could be very subtle on the front wing. Sometimes, unless it's the end plate, you don't always notice it.
No, the end plate, both end plates are there.
No, I know, but end plates is severe damage. You know when you got like a light yellow marker.
Well, yeah.
You don't see that.
That's not there. Yeah, but you don't lose that many positions off of that.
No, but you get understeer though, and if you're running in dirty air,
not that much.
I don't know. Jordan Hillier moves up into the points there ahead of Murph anyway. Look at this, Murph's trying to come back. Is he?
He's now dead last.
Oh dear. not gone to plan at all here for S13. I was battling in the mid-pack in the opening stages of the race, but things have taken a bit of a turn here for our Kick-Salver driver. But nonetheless, we come over the line here to complete lap 3 of the race, and Soggy Cucumber has got just under half a second here over Bow, as Northover looking to try and put the pressure on as well as they come through turn 1. You've got 8 cars in a bit of a train here for the lead. Lancer's closing up onto this train as well, so I said from the back of the pack, Lancer could be a big threat to this race win. As things stand at the moment, Lancer's definitely delivering on my prophecy there. So Lancer, keep it up, keep going, and keep proving me right, as we got Murph there and Jordan side by side going through turn 4, and Murph there doing a good job of keeping himself there, getting onto P10 as Jordan onto the grass there. Murph had to take a tight line there and lost a load of speed there as a result. Jordan getting back around the outside, Murph now diving down the inside with a bit of a, that was reminiscent of Max Verstappen at Mexico last season on Norris. I've got to say, as C. Faulkner getting ahead of Murph now on this long run.
Cucumber.
Yep, battle for the lead here as we've got the two championship contenders here side by side down towards this final part of the track here. Bow around the outside manages to keep onto it with DRS. Soggy Cucumber was looking like it. Yeah, that's gone deep there. Look at that! Wow, Soggy Cucumber there getting the move back done on him. Fantastic driving there from Soggy Cucumber to see that happening as it was opening up in front of him. And Soggy Cucumber hits the front again, but these two are giving it absolutely everything. Bow though, looking like he's on the offensive here in this one. Soggy Cucumber is hanging on for dear life and managed to be in the right place at the right time there, but who knows, as this race wears on, he might not always find himself in a position to come back. But Bow nonetheless has got DRS here coming down towards turn 3, too far back this time, but Bow's just waiting for a clear-cut opportunity now to take this lead and to keep that lead. He needs to try and find a place where he can get the lead and be not open to that counter from Soggy Cucumber, because there's 4 DRS zones around this track, and that's, I tell you what, that makes it very difficult to actually do that.
Right now, it just needs Soggy Cucumber just needs to try and keep the gap to a reasonable point for when Bo does get DRS. But right now, that is pointless information because Bo has just managed to swing right by him before the
where is the detection point for this next zone? Because now Cucumber's right on him. Bo did get DRS, so that will just take him a little bit further away here. So now he just needs to try and extend the gap before the next DRS zone. But Soggy Cucumber's still right there with him, so he's not giving up on this one at all. He's keeping himself very much within striking distance as we now come into the final couple of corners once again. And Soggy Cucumber could have a big chance here to return the favour once again. It's not the...
Just to remember that Soggy Cucumber is on a completely different tyre strategy than what Bo is. Soggy Cucumber, he's going the long game, whereas Bo, he went for the softer compound to try and get away from these guys, but right now it's not doing anything. Those medium tyres are not doing him any favours.
Yeah, that was a crucial move there for Bo, wasn't it? Because when you take into account the strategy, it means that he has to get on with it ASAP. And those medium tyres, that they will have already had to struggle a little bit being in that dirty air, and also having to move around a lot more, because when you're behind you have to manoeuvre the car a heck of a lot more, and that takes more life out of the tyres than it would be if you were leading. So at this point now, Soggy Cucumber's definitely got the advantage, and I'll tell you what, he'd be rubbing it in as well if he can get this move done here. He could make that move easily here coming down towards the chicane. So Soggy Cucumber once again in the lead of the race. Sniper C's also on the hard tyres as well, so that's going to be beneficial not just for Soggy Cucumber but also Sniper C, who could get into second place here in the long game. Could be a threat to Soggy Cucumber as well right there in this battle with these guys. Steely's made a move on 2 of them there up into 5th place, as now we've got Youngie trying to come back here, but that's job done there for Steely in the Ferrari, and gets ahead of the RB Cash App drivers of Youngie and Archie, as we see a bit of a lock up there from the mid car in that pack, which is Youngie. But nonetheless, we go back to the leaders here, because Bo's still keeping that pressure on Soggy Cucumber. But for how much longer is Bo going to be able to keep that tyre advantage? Because those medium tyres we know are going to be going off chronically quickly. But saying that though, we've seen around a lot of tracks this season so far. You think in the first stint that the person on the medium tyres is going to struggle, and then the second stint, the hard is the better tyre overall. You know, sometimes the mediums just don't fire up.
Well, we did see that in Shanghai. In the first stint, the hard did really well, but then the second stint, it just didn't do anything.
But you also found it in Hungary, when you had the drivers who started on the hard tyres, they put the mediums on for the second stint, and the mediums were nowhere. You had drivers on the back of the medium runners in the first stint, thinking, oh yeah, they're going to be flying in the second stint, they're going to run away, and then the mediums just did nothing. You've had moments in the season where some tracks, it works and sometimes it doesn't. The tyre wear is nowhere near as high around this track as it would be around, say, Hungary, but for sure.
Because it all depends on track surface, track temperature, all that kind of stuff. So it does. I don't know if F1 accounts for different track textures and different tracks, with purpose-built tracks compared to street circuits like this one. But if they do, then that does so it makes a big difference.
Yeah, they must have the programming to be able to account for it in some way or another. But nonetheless, we've got Soggy Cucumber with a massive lock up there going into turn 3 on those hard tyres. That'll be a big flat spot on the front right tyre for sure. But Bone has got a 3-second penalty, which is really going to put the cat amongst the pigeons now, because that's going to now... He's going to have to be... I think he's going to be fighting for a podium here tonight. North Dover's got a 3-second penalty here for track limits as well. So there's many drivers now picking up penalties. Lancer, the driver who started at the back, who we know he's got a lot of speed, is... so he's on the back foot now as well. Super Calgon, Jordan Hillier, ZX10 are also other drivers. We already knew about ZX10, and that was on the first lap with a collision. But Lancer here looking racy on the back of Archie, trying to make up more positions here, as we got Steely getting around the outside of North over there, up into 4th place. Steely, one of the drivers who tends to make up places over the course of a race. We've seen many times, isn't the best qualifier, but certainly in the races shows what he's truly capable of. Soggy Cucumber coming out the final corner has still got Bowen, Sniper C in hot pursuit. Less than a second separating the top three as North Over in. Yep. So North Over the first of the medium tyre runners to come in for a scheduled stop. There's Bram's also in the pits, so both of those two coming in on the same lap, and they'll be putting the hard tyres on and will be good to go to the end quite comfortably from here. But the 3 leaders still going at it, but Bo is definitely on the back foot now compared to these other two on his medium tyres. The only hope now is that the hard tyre is overall the better race tyre here. And we know that Soggy Cucumber and Sniper C will have to go long into this stint. Does Bo go for the undercut here? He's got to try something. Surely he's got to come in, put those hard tyres on, show his pace now on fresher tyres, because these two, Soggy Cucumber and Sniper C, they do have to go long. They can't react to Bo's undercut here. They've got to keep at it. Car. Yeah, unless there's a safety car, in which case their benefit, Soggy Cucumber and Sniper C, will benefit enormously. But nonetheless, we see Sniper C looking to the inside there, going into the final sector, but can't quite make the move from there. But Bo's got to roll the dice, I think. He's got to go for the undercut. He's got to try and make it work in some way. As C. Faulkner has moved ahead of Meldav up into the points. And Jordan's got ahead of Meldav now as well. So Meldav dropping down the order here quite considerably. Bo staying out for the time being here in second place. As we now begin lap 10 of the race. So from at the end of this lap, it'll be 19 laps to the end. We know the hard tyres can comfortably do at least that. So, but he's sticking with it at the moment. He's still keeping Soggy Cucumber under pressure, as Lancer is now on his way out of the pits, having done his one stop on the hard tyres. So now looking to try and go for the undercut here is Lancer. Saying that, he's come out behind the likes of Supercat. Well, actually, no, he would have done because they haven't pitted yet, but he's behind Northover, which is quite crucial here, because Lancer would have wanted to get that undercut and tried to overtake these drivers who are battling for the podium places. So this could be a bit of a ball ache here for Lancer. Saying that, it's not really for the podium, it's probably for 4th place, because I think the top 3 have kind of got this one to themselves here. Steely's moved ahead of Youngie up into 4th place. As now Archie's trying to get involved as well. Sniper C and Bo here side by side, and Bo keeps it around the outside there, holds on but goes a little bit wide. He still gets it stopped. Super Calden in the meantime has moved ahead of Murph up into 7th place. See Faulkner now waiting in the wings here, but Murph got a good exit coming out of the chicane. Super Calden a little bit out of shape there, still side by side coming into this next corner. Super Calden on the inside out breaks him, and still gives him the space there. Super Calden was far too polite there, and I gave him so much space on the outside. Murph now has the inside for this penultimate corner, but Super Calgon there far too nice in that battle. I've got to say, sometimes you've got to get your elbows out, and obviously you learn this over the course of experience, and a lot of drivers it's hard to toe that line between aggression and cleanliness, but sometimes you've really just got to make the car a bit wide and just force your opponent into difficult positions. But nonetheless, Soggy Cucumber's now got well over a second of a gap here over Bo and Sniper C, so really settling into a rhythm on those hard tyres. They've got a long way to go yet before he can think about taking them off. So Bo, in the meantime, coming under pressure on these worn mediums.
It does look like Bo is really starting to struggle with those medium tires, especially in the last few corners. His car does seem to get away from him a little bit.
Yeah, certainly does. So now Sniper C is into second place. Northover's got ahead of C Faulkner up into seventh. And now Lancer's going to follow him through as well there. So the two drivers who've pitted for fresh hard tyres making their way through without any real major issues there. Lancer now attacking all over the back of Northover coming into the chicane. They've also got a load of traffic here. Super Calgon and Murph in front of them. And there we go. So they've made their way through. Super Calgon is off the track and into the wall. Super Calgon's had an absolute horror show here. And is surely going to have damage there on the car, which is going to mean he's probably going to have to come in. Bo's coming in to put the hard tyres on, like Ian just said there. So McLaren crew ready for the hard tyres, and he's off and away. He's now got to go for it here. He's got to try and get that undercut here on Soggy Cucumber and Sniper C. He can easily push to the end. Doesn't need to conserve these tyres at all. Bo can go flat out from here to the flag. He's come out ahead of Northover, which is crucial because Northover got a massive undercut here on Bo, but Bo has held on for now. Saying that, he's going to have to get his elbows out here because Northover's got DRS. Bo might be vulnerable. He should be okay though. So Bo's now got to just keep Northover at bay for these next few corners because he's on cold tyres here. Once he can do that, he should be okay to try and work that undercut here on Soggy Cucumber and Sniper C, but they're all going to be in a position where they can do that. But I'd say that Bo's probably the one who's got the pace out of these drivers here. Northover and Lancer not too far away from him though, I'll tell you that. Bo's on the fresher tyres, but Northover is going to have a big chance here coming down towards the chicane. He's got DRS, and we know how OP that is coming down this part of the track. Here we go then, Northover to the outside. This is surely going to be job done here for him. Bo's holding it there though, and he's still right there on the outside. A little bit wide there on the exit of the corner. Lancer there says, thank you very much, boys. Whilst you scrap it out, I'm going to say absolutely see you later, see you never. And Lancer there up into fourth place. Northover makes his way through. Bo is down to P6. Archie's out of the race, and that's for VSC. Where are the leaders? They've already gone past the pits. So that's absolutely crucial there for Bo, because I tell you what, if Soggy Cucumber and Sniper C had been coming up on the pit lane at that moment, then they would have had a practically half-price pit stop there. So, yeah, that could have been very close. Soggy Cucumber and Sniper C missed out, I think, 10 seconds earlier. I think that they would have had a very, very cheap pit stop there.
Yeah. Also, I don't know what the collision was like with Archie, but any sooner, and as you say, it would have greatly benefited the two leaders right now, but unfortunately, they're a little too far by it, and right now that's just gave Bo a massive advantage.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's behind Lancer and Northover, who obviously have those warmer tyres. Bo struggling on those cold tyres straight out of the pits and lost those places. But nonetheless, Northover now looking to attack on Lancer to the outside as they come down this long straight. Oh, and it's contact! That was silly there. Northover moved over on Lancer there. He didn't need to cut him off. He had the move done very easily there with the DRS. Why on earth he decided to do that, I do not know. Lancer now is right behind him, but Northover with a affirmation of DRS there down towards that corner and was able to pull away. But Bo has got work to do here because he came in early looking for the undercut. He's now got two drivers ahead of him here in the shape of Northover and Lancer. So this is going to be a real uphill task here for a McLaren driver. In the meantime, Lancer's very close on Northover as they come down towards turn one, but is just keeping his cards close to his chest here. Knows that that's not worth going for a move there, not just there anyway. And he's going to get another bite of DRS.
No, sorry, we've now got Steely arriving on the scene, coming up behind Bo at a rapid pace.
Lancer making a move around the outside. You are absolutely right here. So Bo needs to get ahead of these two in front of him. He is losing time all the time. Thing is, they're all getting the undercut on Soggy Cucumber and Sniper C here, and those two are actually battling for the lead as well. Sniper C's made the move for P1, which has only been slowed them down, and Soggy Cucumber's now got a penalty. Oh my god!
He cut the chicane.
This is going to be huge. This could be a huge battle for the win, because these two, they might have even lost track position here because of how long they've had to stay out on the hard tyres. They could well have lost track position to the likes of Lancer, Bow, Northover and Steely. Maybe even Youngie and Brams, but they might just about be out of it. These two are going to come out somewhere in the midst of this pack. I'm sure of it. The gap is not enough. Back to these squabbling drivers here. They're going to come out in the middle of a pack on faster tyres, granted, but it's going to be tricky for these two. Sniper C is in the box seat.
As we always say, it's one thing catching the driver, it's another thing overtaking them.
Absolutely, they're going to be stuck in a DRS train in amongst all these drivers on the hard tyres. They're going to have faster tyres. Sniper C should be in the box seat here because if he's in that train of cars, as long as he's within 3 seconds of the lead, he'll win the race. Saying that, there's a long way to go. But yeah, these two are almost certainly have lost track position to the drivers who came in for the undercut early on in the race, starting on the mediums and put the hards on.
What's happened to North over here? He's dropped behind Steely.
Yeah, Steely's up into P5. Like you said, Ian, Steely's been just picking them off here. He's been Steely in his determinations.
Yeah, Northover was ahead of Bow.
So Bow in the meantime has moved ahead of Lancer up into third place as they come down towards the chicane. So Bow has now regained the positions that he lost out of the pits. Obviously, we saw in the first stint, Bow was the third, was one of the three contenders for the win, or one of the fastest three in the first stint. So he's got a good chance here if he can keep this sort of pace up. But Sniper C and Soggy Cucumber are definitely going to lose track position here unless we have a safety car, and if we do, then that'll be quite suspicious, considering that they stayed out way past when they would have lost track position.
Well, in terms of like fastest laps right now, well, still he's just taking it off Bow, but right now, in terms of last lap, Bow was over a second faster than the overall fastest lap set by these two at the front.
Yeah, it just goes to show how much time they're losing right now. And it does feel like they may be holding out for something. I don't quite know what. Maybe they're hoping there's a safety car, but they've probably got about a couple more laps before they need to start thinking about making that change.
Oh, he retired in the pits.
That's Super Calgon there out of the race here on lap 16. That shouldn't be an issue here because he's well out of the way. So, Super Calgon's left the session. And we're down to 14 runners here in this Australian Grand Prix tonight here at the Red Arrows Racing League. As Lance has got back ahead of Bow once again here. These two pretty evenly matched in this battle for third place. But Bow's still keeping him on his toes at the moment as they come down towards this final sector again. And Lancer wide, very wide there. Just about got it turned in. I'll tell you what, you could see how wide he was just on the entry to that corner, couldn't you? Completely missed the apex on the inside. Sniper C into the pits. So he will come out, I think, in P7 because Brams has dropped off. Yeah. So it'll be either, or maybe P6 if Youngie isn't there. Could be close. Close. Yep. Here comes Sniper C ahead of Youngie. So, but Youngie's going to have a bit of a run here. I think he might be alright, but we know how much the tyres struggle to warm up through this first sector here. So this could be a chance for Youngie through that DRS zone down towards the chicane in the middle sector. So yeah, Sniper C's got to watch out here, but Sniper C is in 5th place on his medium tyres, and all the drivers in front of him have got penalties. That is going to be a massive boost here for Sniper C, and he knows he doesn't need to really pull any stunts here, just needs to make sure he's with those guys who are in front of him.
I'm just keeping an eye on the gap to Soggy Cucumber that Bow and Lancer have, and it's just dropped by 2 seconds in the space of 2 corners here, so I'm feeling that Soggy Cucumber might just be thinking about coming into the pits soon, and he's coming in now.
I was just about to pose the question, do you think he might be holding out for the soft tyres for the final stint? And then he literally came in at that moment. But no, it's not happening. So Soggy Cucumber into the pit lane to put the medium tyres on for 12 more laps here around this Albert Park circuit, and he'll come out I think a little way. I think he might come out behind Youngie here. Let's see. Youngie's actually got Northover. I'm trying to make a move as well. But Soggy Cucumber does come out ahead of them, which is very important there because he needed that. If he lost the position to those two, I think that his chances of the win would be pretty much out of the window. And to be honest, with that penalty, it's going to be extremely difficult as it is with Sniper C coming track position. Oh no, what's happened?
He had a slide, or I don't know if it was contact or not, but there was a bit of a slide from Bo, so it was, and now he's now back down to 4th behind Steely, Sniper C and Lancer.
It would take something pretty monumental now for Sniper C to lose this race, being that he hasn't got that penalty and he's got the faster tyres than anybody else around him. Steely, as ever here, he's on the attack in the closing stages of the race, looking around the outside here into the chicane, makes that move beautifully there on Sniper C up into 2nd place, without obviously the warmer tyres. Sniper C still on cold tyres at the moment. Saying that, he's done a lap and a half on them now. They should be pretty much up to temperature, but Steely making it work on those hard tyres. They're not too old, and we know that the gap between the mediums and the hards isn't too much, but Steely getting into this race on the back of Lancer here. Most of them have got penalties out the front here, so obviously we know that Sniper C and Soggy Cucumber on the mediums. All the other top contenders here in this race are on the hard tyres, so lock that in and remember that. Steely is attacking on Lancer, but Sniper C on the mediums, Soggy Cucumber on the mediums. All the rest of the top 7 are on the hard tyres in these closing stages.
Yeah, I'm going to start out to agree with you on the possibility that Sniper C could be our race winner here if he keeps it clean for the remainder of the race.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Sniper C just doesn't need to do anything heroic here. Ultimately, it's tempting sometimes. You want to win in style. You want to take the lead, making a last-ditch overtake, and you want to feel like you've earned it. But ultimately, he doesn't need to do that. He just needs to make sure he's in the right place at the right time. And it's easier said than done because you want to do it in a spectacular fashion. But nonetheless, Youngie's moved ahead of his Northover. Northover's got 16 seconds worth of penalties. That's a catastrophe there. 19. So yeah, that's not gone well. Steely in the meantime is on course for at least a 2nd place here, because with Lancer with that 6-second penalty, Steely's in the box seat. What Steely I think will probably be hoping here is that he can get ahead of Lancer, and then Lancer can be a bit of a cork in the bottle here for Sniper C, and maybe Steely might be able to pull away, but could be a really insurmountable task here. Soggy Cucumber has just done the fast lap of the race here on those fresh medium tyres, running in P5 with that penalty. Brams has dropped away. Northover's in 8th place in the pits, as we see serving that 10-second penalty. So that, well, there was 19, now there is 9. And Northover's off and away. But yeah, it's very difficult to look past Sniper C at the moment in this fight for the win, but in terms of the on-track battle at the moment, it could be anyone's race, because you've got five of them pretty much in a line here.
Oh, here comes Bo looking around the outside. Oh, he has hit the brakes a little bit early to avoid hitting the back of Lancer.
Soggy Cucumber had a little look to the inside of Sniper C there, coming through the chicane. He knows he needs to get the move done on Sniper C, because to have any chance of winning the race with the penalties, so pretty much Soggy Cucumber's going to be in a real hurry to clear this Haas car as soon as possible. Looking to the inside now, into the penultimate corner. This is this is the battle with the medium tyres here. Soggy Cucumber now into 4th place, can now try and chase after these drivers ahead. Also on the same number of penalties as Steely as well as Soggy Cucumber, but the penalties shouldn't be too much of a concern at the moment, because we've still got a fair way to go. We've got to remember that drivers who haven't got penalties or drive with less penalties could easily pick them up here, and those who have got severe amount already could also pick up more. So at this point, we've got to just focus on the track. Oh no! Bo there, tagging the back of Soggy Cucumber as they came through turn 3.
I think he was just trying to outbrake Soggy Cucumber there.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Not when Soggy Cucumber's got 2-lap-old medium tyres, and Bo has been on those hard tyres now for a fair few laps. So Soggy Cucumber there now into 4th place, but has lost a little bit of time. Bo coming off way worse in that one, but Soggy Cucumber is still right there with these leaders. I'll tell you what, didn't really lose as much as I thought he had for a moment there. And Lancer's still leading the race, but Steely's still keeping him on his toes. Has lost out a little bit of time to the middle sector though. Sniper C now getting closer to the back of Steely. Steely keeping onto that DRS on his teammate at the moment, which is keeping him in this battle just about. But he could have very easily lost that DRS and been vulnerable here to Sniper C. As it is, he's holding on to the coattails of Lancer for the time being. Lancer though, got to say, whilst we're sat here right now, has done a fantastic job in this race of coming from 16th to 1st place. And now we got a safety car.
Safety car.
Brams is out of the race. Oh wow, that has blown the race wide open, and they've just gone past it. So we now got to do another lap.
Brahms was a paid actor there.
Oh my god. That's annoying. They just went straight past the safety car, so we've got to do another lap.
Yeah, but that gives them all a chance to go into the pits.
It does. You're right. You're right. So it's going to be a 6-lap dash to the flag, with all fresh tyres. Yeah. Don't speak about paid actors, Ian. Come on, we don't want to blow our cover here. North Dover.
Wait, you're the one that wrote the script.
Can't shh. As we see Jordan Hillier into the pits, so he's off and away now, and we see we see also a few more drivers coming in, so they're all going to be on fresh soft tyres, I think, unless anybody's run out. No, mediums.
Mel is on the medium. Jordan, Murph, and Youngie are all on the medium tyres.
The only driver to put the softs on so far is Z13. Oh, it's C Faulkner now as well. But that's interesting. I wonder if drivers have run out of soft tyres, because I can't imagine why they wouldn't be putting softs on, because we're only going to have 5 racing laps by the time this is over. That is very peculiar indeed here.
The leaders are all coming in.
Yeah, Lancer, Steely, Sniper C, Sucky Cucumber, as Bo will be following them. So it's going to be about outright grunt here, and I tell you what, those with no penalties are going to really benefit. So Sniper C is going to be pretty much in the box seat here.
The Ferraris have double stacked.
No. Who was behind? Steely was behind.
I think so, yeah.
That's going to really shoot Steely in the foot.
Both went for the medium tyre.
Yeah, so is everyone except Lancer. The only driver to go on the soft is Lancer. But do these medium runners know something? Because I would have thought the soft tyres would work easily with 5 or 6 laps left. I wouldn't have thought it'd be even a question. But for some reason, drivers are putting the medium tyres on left, right, and centre. And Lancer, maybe we could be seeing in the last couple of laps, Lancer's tyres go off, and he could be really vulnerable here.
It's very possible. I mean, it's a fast-paced track. It does have a reasonable amount of tyre degradation. So, and plus, it does look like it's getting a little bit later in the day. So the track will be cooling down. So I don't really imagine that it's going to be that hard on the tyres for the softs.
No, it's very, very peculiar here. So Lancer's now got the soft tyres on and happens to have track position, which is important. That was the only way he was going to win this race. He has got 6 seconds worth of penalties. He needs to pull 6 seconds to the likes of Sniper C, and 3 seconds to Cucumber, Steely, and Bo. So yeah, Lancer's got work to do. I'd say he could probably easily pull the 3 seconds to Cucumber, Steely, and Bo. The 6 seconds to Sniper C, that's going to be a tall order here, unless Sniper C gets another penalty.
Well, the only other way that I can see it happening is if Soggy Cucumber and Steely really do start attacking on the back of Sniper C and trying to get distracted to the back end rather than the front end, and allowing Lancer to run away with it. But with Soggy Cucumber being in the position of the championship that he's in, I don't see Soggy Cucumber want to fight with Sniper C too much.
No, I see what you're saying very much. It doesn't make a whole load of sense to do that, but I wonder maybe if these guys do start to trip over each other a bit behind, it will benefit Lancer. But then when you look at the consensus over the tyres here, there's clearly some kind of trepidation towards the soft tyres around this circuit in any kind of race spec. Fuel's low. There's not many laps left. For me, on paper, there's no reason why people would be putting those medium tyres on, but clearly there's a en masse. There is a general perception that the softs aren't going to last. So could we be seeing Lancer falling back? Yeah, could we be seeing in the last couple of laps, maybe the first couple of laps, Lancer will pull away, and then maybe the last couple of laps we could be seeing him come back to the pack a bit. I don't know. It's hard to imagine.
I guess we'll just have to stay tuned in and wait for the results.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating. So, drivers watching this back afterwards, hopefully you're enjoying the suspense. You all know what happens, but yeah, fingers crossed we can nonetheless. Well, no, it's still good to watch. It's still fun to watch it back. You get to see the coverage from a whole different perspective. When you're racing, you're kind of like stressed and fired up
Well,
when you're
I
watching it
always,
back.
whenever I'm racing and if there's a stream for that race, I'll always sit and watch it listen to it while I'm racing, so I can
Yeah.
keep an update on what's happening behind.
But also after the race, you can sort of relax with a cup of tea or a snack or something, and just relive it, and it's always very pleasant.
Of
Um,
course.
but here we go then. This is it then.
We've got Steely being doing a raking. Everyone else is warming the tires, and he's doing a straight line.
This is him. He's the Matty Pitt of. It was Matty Pitt, wasn't it? Yeah, in Purple
Yeah.
Sector. Yeah, he's the Matty Pitt of Red Arrows. Steely here. He's the Iceman.
Right, here we go. It's up to Lancer now to try and set the pace for the grid, and he looks like he's away.
Here we go then. The mission begins here for Lancer to try and extend the gap to 6 seconds in these last 5 laps of the race. He's got a second already. He's got to go a second lap quicker than this man here, who's been in the box seat for the last few laps. Sniper C has been the favourite for the race win, and pretty much ever since we began the second stint of the race, when he seemed to get the better of Soggy Cucumber for the pit stops. Yeah, he's got around the outside, but Sniper C, maybe he was being smart there. I'm not quite sure. He made that far too easy there. I reckon he's playing the long game. But thing is, Lancer is threatening to break away out the front. He's already got 2 seconds here to Sniper C. He needs 6, so that's, we're a third of the way to where he needs to be at this point. Lancer is taking off out the front. Started P16 on the grid, let's not forget, and is currently out in front and really putting them under a bit of pressure here now. They're going to be at it behind to try and keep that gap down to a reasonable amount here. Soggy Cucumber could be sensing a race win if he can pull away by 3 seconds to Sniper C and stay within those 3 seconds of Lancer. Then it could be an extension of his championship lead tonight. But Bo down in P5 is going to lose points to his championship rival Soggy Cucumber no matter what happens, unless Soggy Cucumber has an absolute mare in his final couple of laps, which isn't out of the question. We see a lot of drivers looking up going into that penultimate corner there, but nobody goes wide, as we can see. Nobody's done a Piastri so far. But Lancer here over the line to start lap 26, 4 laps left to go, and his gap staying at 2 seconds here to his main rival for this race win. So as it stands in this race, Sniper C still in a position to take the win, but still a fair way to go yet. And obviously Lancer's tyres, we expect, will start to wear off a little bit in the last couple of laps of the race. But it's only 5 laps, 5 racing laps to do all together, so it's not going to be a major delta in the favour of the medium tyres at the end.
Yeah, it does seem like he is coming off of the traditional wedge right now a little bit. I don't know if that's understeer or what is it? Hold on. Oh, it still says safety car on my screen. But anyway, yeah, it looks like he is suffering with a little bit of understeer in some of the corners.
Yeah, it's not what you want to be seeing at all, but I suppose with the whole pack being pretty close, it can happen. We see Steely here looking to the inside of Sniper C, but not in a position to make anything happen just there, as Jordan's got ahead of Corey up into 8th place. Corey trying to come back into this next corner, that's not going to happen from there. But nonetheless, we see Soggy Cucumber now starting to reel in Lancer a little bit here. Sniper C still well within a second of Soggy Cucumber, but maybe these guys were right. Maybe there was a reason why they were so hesitant to put those medium tyres, to put those soft tyres on. That's why we saw almost everybody putting the medium tyres on for this final 5-lap stint, because Lancer seems to be falling backwards at the moment. In the first couple of laps, had the gap over a second. Now it's dipped well under a second right now, and potentially Cucumber and Sniper C could be coming for him in these last 3 laps of the race. As we know, Sniper C's obviously got no penalties. Cucumber would need to get ahead of Lancer and pull a 3-second gap. Yeah, 9 seconds now for Lancer. That's game over there. That is hopes of a race win dash there for Lancer. But Soggy Cucumber could still take this win away from Sniper C, but it needs to be 3 seconds ahead. It needs to get ahead of Lancer pretty quickly indeed. So Cucumber's got to up the ante here on the back of the Ferrari. He's got DRS here as they come down towards the final sector. Is he going to make this move? He's going to look to the inside, and Soggy Cucumber's going to make the move for the lead of the race here. This is surely going to be job done here for him. Lancer's trying to keep it around the outside, contact there between them, but Cucumber makes the move stick there and now has the lead and could potentially be in a position to pull away here from Sniper C, because he's got Lancer in between them. So can Cucumber make this work here in the final couple of laps of this race? Lancer's got DRS and he's going to try and come back at him here. Yeah, here we go. So Lancer to the inside into turn 1. and it's going to try and return that favour there. So Lancer hitting the front once again on those tyres, which are seemingly hanging on by a thread right now. Cucumber here trying to come back here down towards turn 3, but it's too far back, and Lancer had the DRS anyway, so was able to defend there with that one. But yeah, what a race this is turning into, and Sniper C, I think, pretty much has passed that test now. I think if Cucumber was able to extend the gap through turn 1, well, it might be a different story, but I think that Lancer getting back ahead of Cucumber has just won this man here, Sniper C, the race.
Yeah, yeah. I understand that there's a will to fight it out till the very last second, but I always forgot to Cucumber going right outside again. But I thought, even with the amount of sheer force of will that you may have, there's no chance that you'll be able to pull out a 3-second gap within 1 lap.
No, it's not going to happen. Not realistic. But Nordo has moved ahead of Jordan Hillier up into 7th place. Having said that, Jordan Hillier is dropping down the order a bit here. Got a horrible exit there, and Murph squeezing through head up into 8th place. So Jordan here going backwards in the fight in the closing stages of this race. But Soggy Cucumber coming over the line here to start the final lap of the race. Fastest lap of the race there from him as well on his medium tyres. They're starting to really ramp up here at the moment. The gap is just over a second between Soggy Cucumber and Sniper C. As long as Sniper C has a clean final lap of the race, it's going to be job done here for our driver, who's running 3rd on the track but will be the race winner without any penalties here in this race. So just needs to keep its cool over the course of this final lap. Don't get dragged into any unnecessary battles. Steely and Bo right behind him. Youngie as well. 6 drivers in a pack of cars. It's a shame about the penalties, because if it wasn't for that, we'd be watching a 6-driver battle for the lead. But I suppose it still is in a sense, but not in the case of who could win the race. But nonetheless, Soggy Cucumber coming in towards the final half a lap here of this Australian Grand Prix for the Red Arrows Racing League. It's been a phenomenal race here tonight. And Soggy Cucumber was battling in the early stages with Sniper C and Mark Bowe. Mark Bowe dropped out of the race in the second stint, didn't really figure at all. He lost the race, I think, in his outlap when he got passed by the 2 drivers who were on different strategies from him. Obviously, Lancer as well as Steely, but nonetheless, we're coming into the final couple of quarters here. It's going to be Soggy Cucumber who's going to come around the final corner to take the checkered flag. He is going to win the race on the track. Lancer over in second, but Sniper C is your race winner tonight here at Albert Park. He takes the Australian Grand Prix here at the Red Arrows Racing League. Soggy Cucumber over in second with the penalties. Steely takes 3rd onto the podium. Fantastic job there from Steely to squeeze in there. Youngie 4th place ahead of Bowe, with Lancer P6. The top 6 there were well ahead of everybody else, but what a race that was in. And Sniper C was cool, composed, and it won in the race.
Yeah, no, he knew exactly where he had to keep the car. He knew where the limits were. He kept his foot planted to the floor as well, so he knew exactly what he had to do, and he pulled it off flawlessly.
He did. Right, that is that then, everybody, for the race. So yeah, fantastic job there from Sniper C. Soggy Cucumber and Steely there completing the podium. That is that, guys, for the Red Arrows Racing League here tonight. We'll be back very, very soon. Join us next week for round 5 of the season. Apologies for the fact that the stream said round 3 whilst it was live. I'm going to edit that as soon as we're off air in a second. But we'll be back next week for the sprint event at Brazil, Interlagos, for round 5 of the season. Sprint and a Grand Prix. The week after that will be Monaco. That will be a three compound race, so drivers have to use all 3 dry tyre compounds for that one. That's going to be chaos. Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see that one. But join us this week for Purple Sector, as always, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 p.m. UK time, and we'll be live from Monaco on Tuesday. A lot of Monaco this week, very scared. Followed by Canada on Thursday night. But thanks, everybody, and we'll see you all very soon.
Good night.